Khalsa Vaji Fadeji. Welcome to another session of Khoj Gurbani. This is Ravinder Singh from Columbus. We are today going to conclude our consideration of Asa Ki Vaar, and Chetandeep Singh from California will be leading the discussion. Chetandeep, it's all yours.
Anji, thank you, Virji. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. So today is the last pori of Asa Ki Vaar. Let's first read through the pori, and then we can come back to the literal meanings or discussion. Slok Mahella Pehla. आपे भांडे साजियन आपे पूरन दे एक नी दुध समाइए एक चुल्हे रहन चढ़े एक निहाली पै सवन एक ऊपर रहन खड़े तिना सवारे नानका जिनको नदर करे महला दूजा आपे साजे करे आप जाई पी रखे आप तिस विच जंत उपाय कै देखै थाप उथाप किसनो कहिए नानका सब किछ आपे आप पौड़ी वडे किया वडियाइयां किछ कहना कहन न जाए सो करता कादर करीम दे जिया रिजक संभाए साई कार कमावनी धुर छोड़ी तिन्ने पाए नानक एकी बाहरी होर दूजी नाही जाए सो करे जे तिसे रजाए सो करे जे तिसे रजाए. So before we delve into the meanings of this body or sloks, I just want to share this feeling that I have, like whenever I listen to Asa Ki Vaar, especially when we reach towards the end, body 23, 24, it's so transcendental that I mean the feeling I get is like beyond anything. So you just want to listen to it, the words, the poetry. It just takes you somewhere else in your heart, and you basically just stop thinking about anything else or even what it says. You just want to keep listening on. But anyhow, what I understand from this slok is Ape Pande Sajian, Ape Purn De. So Guru Sahib is saying like he creates, so the word here is Sajian. So that's how he started Asa Ki Vaar, Pauri number 1. And, when he started Api ne aap sajyo, Api ne rachyo now, doi kudrat sajiye kare asan ditho chao. So again the theme seems to circle back to basically oneness, that the whole concept of Gurbani starts with Ik Oankar, the concept of one. So again, I think he's reiterating in this sloks and podis is like he himself creates everybody and fills them or completes them. And then again, he kind of hints at a play that is going on here, that he has created. Karasan Ditho Chao, right? He's watching that play that for some, Ikni Dudsmaye, for some, he has given that Daat of Naam, and for some who are eternally in Home. Ikne hali Paisavan ik uppar rehn khade. Again, like some have gotten that Daat of Naam and are like sleeping like a baby, and some are always anxious and watching over themselves. And again, he reiterates what he said in the previous body when we read ek ne hi daat आपस थे जो पाइए, right? He's questioning like नानक सा करमात साहिब तुठे जो मिले. So again, tina सवारे नानका जिनको नदर करे, that to whom like sahib tutte jo mile. So to whom he is gracious enough, those get that daat of naam in his play. Mahalla Duja, Ape Saje Kare Aap Jaye Pi Rakhe Aap. So again, different combinations of word, the use of language to basically stress upon that oneness, like Ape Saje Kare Aap Jaye Pi Rakhe Aap, that he's the one who is creating, who is maintaining, or who is taking care of. And this way, Jantu Paike, like he's taking care of everything, the whole system that's going on, the whole system of the universe, the everything that's going on. Like everybody is getting its food, and everything, that the whole system, he is taking care of that. He has created that creation of nature, of Kudrat. किसनो कहिए नानका सबके चापे आप. And again, Guru Pacha is saying, what should I say and to whom should I say anything? I see that one in everybody. And I again want to stress this point that we highlighted last time, that these bodies and sloks or this Bani is a state of mind, it's inspired speech. So, uh, Guru Sahib is stating his state of mind, like, Kisno kahiye, to whom should I say and what should I say? I see one in everything. Sab kich aap pe aap is not in duality. Body, वडे किया वडियाइयां, किच कहना कहन ना जाए. Again, Vada, he's referring to Akal Purkh, Vada, like he's saying, what can I say about him? What qualities he has? I cannot say anything. Like, it's beyond words to even admire him. So karta kadar kareem de jiya rijik sambaye. Again, different language, different words, but the concept is the same. Like, so karta, he's the doer, he's the only doer, and he is taking care of the whole system that he has created of this nature. Sai kar kamavni tur chodi tine pae. So I think the way I understand this particular line is that Guru Sahib is either is stating his state of mind, that I am doing that kar that has been written with me. The one we read in Japji Sahib Pauri 1, Hukam Rajai Chalana Nanak Likhya Nal. So he's saying, the I am doing that kar, I am just obeying his orders, the one uh, that has been written along with me. And this can be taken as a message, take home message for us too. Like, do that kar, sai kar kamavni, that has been written within you. Nanak likhya naal. So, Nanak eki bahari hor duji nahi jaye. Nanak eki bahari. So, there is no one else, there is only one. So kare jete se rajaye. And only that happens that he desires. Uda pana, that udi raza, he has created the whole system, the order, and whatever is happening around us, we might think under the illusions of Home that we are the doers, but Guru Sahib is stressing again and again, using different words, different language, that whatever happens, so kare, he is the doer, so karta, so kare, je tise rajaye, whatever he pleases, that is happening around us. Back to you, Virji.
Anji, thank you, Chetandeep. I want to just set off the discussion by asking you this question. You've talked about, everything is happening within his hukum, that we are in fact not doing anything, and yet there is an implied notion that we should do something, that something could be accepting hukum or doing action. So I wonder how you reconcile the two. Or is there another meaning to doing, karta, versus the choices that we make on a day-to-day basis?
Virji, can you explain a bit on the second part? I didn't get your dilemma. Like, you're saying we're not doing anything. What is the
No, I
other?
mean, I'm just trying to go back to what you said in your explanation, that we are really not the doers. We are not. We are actually, everything is happening,
Right.
right? And yet, you also made a statement that we should be doing those actions that are in consonance with hukum.
Okay.
So I was trying to
Sure.
understand if there is not a dichotomy here.
So maybe when I say doing those actions, it's basically being in that state of mind, being rather than doing, being in that state of mind where we recognize the oneness is, I think, what he's saying, Sai Kar Kamavni, right? Uh, or being in tune with your true nature, with your own true self,
Okay,
rather
thank
than
you.
really doing anything.
Thank you. Thank you. Ekunkarji, would you like to weigh in?
I think I want to listen just to start. I'm just kind of having a little bit of trouble with all the things that are happening in the news right now, and then these words about God being the doer of everything. It's a struggle I come back to all the time, and it's just kind of particularly poignant at this moment. So I'm gonna listen to start tonight.
Okay, very well. Haji Virji, Gurdeep Singh ji, Ekunkarji is troubled by what's going on, and I think we all are. I often wonder why would a good God allow such things to happen, but that may be my inability to really understand the big picture. So I'm looking at it from my own, little filters, perhaps. If you want to sort of also address that in addition to whatever your own thoughts are.
Okay. हुक्म भी इतना मनाए सी जिनको नदर करे. It's not easy to stay in his pana, to stay in his order. For that also we need a strength, and that strength we can only get with the sixth salah. Jisnu bakshe sixth salah, Nanak paas sai pasa. Sifti hoye, sifti rachya. We have to appreciate him every moment, no matter what he gives to us. If you compare with the lower people, the same thing. एक न्याली पैसानी ऊपर रह चढ़े, तिना स्वारे नानका जिनको नदर करे. So how to get the nadar? I think in the whole Guru Granth Sahib we study, we have to appreciate him. We have to sing his divine gun. Gun gavat teri utras mail, bin sajaye home mein big fail. Now we have all this poison of home inside us. And to get rid of this poison is the only naam. Maya ka marn har naam hai. So I see only here they say we should start appreciating him no matter what's happening, because there's no guarantee for anything in our life. Even what we have, a beautiful body has been given, the eyes, nose, legs, everything. If you see the next person, we go to the hospital, we saw how many people are suffering from all this. With that point only, we can appreciate him no matter what we have. So if we say resentment, oh, you didn't give me this, God, how come you other guy so rich, he's enjoying, I'm not suffering, there's no end to it. And in Khoj, the era in which we are living now, at one place Gurbani says, "A kar kare, so a kar paye, koi na pakdiye kisi thai." If we do something wrong with the left hand, right hand has to pay for it. This is the theory of karma. But when we become a Gyanvan, spiritual person, then we will get out of this theory of karma, Rajo Sato Tamo Gun, then there we will accept everything happily, whatever he's doing. This is what the Bhagat did, the saint people, no matter what religion they are, but they have a spiritual state which is very above our human state of mind, which is spirituality. That's the level where every this thing is applied. This is how I see. The rest are our efforts. Effort is what we are doing now. Effort going to congregations, going to nice people, talking to them, everywhere singing the divine hymn. No matter what religion, everybody says that. I think that will bring the fruit, or that can bring the change. Otherwise, with only mental level, it looks hard. It has to be on the spiritual. Thank you.
Hanji, thank you, ji. Hanji Virji, Gurdeep Singh ji, Gurjeet Singh ji.
Hanji Virji.
Hanji, Vaji Khalsa, Vaji Fateh ji. You'd like to share your insights? You've heard Chetandeep and Gurdeep Singh Virji.
Hanji, I heard you too. I think I have the same question, that there's something really missing in his interpretation. He's trying to put it on the first Pauri, and I have, except for the Pauri's second stanza from where macro comes in, the whole thing is dealing in micro. It's for the Jeev, because the Parmeshwar will not go chulle ran chade. This is all about Jeev. So I think you have to reinterpret that using that it is all said for the Jeev. that Ape Pande Sajjan, the Jeev has done his own action under the hukum, Ape Puran De, so that he can become Puran Brahm. It's nothing to do. Parmeshwar has done his bit, created the earth, everything, sent the Gyan. From here, I think it's our story which starts. What I have to do, it's all my actions, how they will be rewarded or disregarded, or whatever, regarded or disregarded.
Let's go to Ripudaman. Ripudaman.
Hanji Veer ji, Vaji Khalsa, Vaji Fateh.
Ajay Khalsa, Ajay Fateh ji.
What's the question? I'm sorry.
There's no specific question. We just want to get your input. You've heard some of the discussion.
Yeah, so Veerji, nothing conclusive here. The macro debate or the interpretations always they go side by side, and it's very tough to conclude one way or the other for me right now.
Sure. And I want you to remember that we are not trying to force an answer.
Yeah.
That's not the intent. We just want to air out all of these views.
Yeah.
So that we can chew on them, later. I don't think our goal here is to come to a correct answer.
Yeah. So no, I'm just saying that even outside of this discussion, when I read Barney, I those two aspects arise, and some days I like one interpretation, other days I like the other one.
Okay.
The question that Concur ji put is very interesting. That given what happens in the world, sometimes it becomes very tough. I just keep on going back to Japji Sahib's, Pauri stanza, where it says that the Abhi Dat Teri Datar Wali Pauri, right? So that is very interesting, because कहते हैं दुख भूख सद मार Abhi Dat Teri Datar. So then, therefore, all that tells me is that the way I look upon the world and ascribe good, bad, or even ascribe action and doership to whosoever or whatever, whether it's the one or the individual, probably the way I'm looking at it is wrong. So so while we all stand, I'm assuming, united, against all the atrocities that we hear in today's environment, especially, there is something to the interpretation that we make is still probably not aligned with what Guruji is trying to tell us to do. So.
Okay, thank you. Now, we may be running the risk of putting words in Ekonkar's mouth, because she didn't really lay it all out. She just made an aside here. So, Ekonkarji, if you want to correct us, please.
Oh, no correction.
Okay.
It's interesting, because as I was sitting here listening to everyone, and this may be a little bit of a tangent, but it's always a little fascinating to me that the realm of spiritual discourse has been primarily male, just across cultures, across religions. I'm always aware of the ratio in our group of men and women, and kind of the awkwardness I feel sometimes showing up because of that.
You really do, huh?
Yeah, I really do.
Okay.
It's an act of courage for me to show up, given the ratio. It's not like I don't notice it, or it doesn't like make me intimidated.
Oh.
And and the last couple weeks, the news has been so filled with all of these shadow issues around men and women and sexuality and power.
Yeah.
And so part of me is asking, why is there that barrier to discourse? And what does that have to do with power? I don't have any answers. I'm just sitting here feeling that I know that for myself, being a Sikh and studying Gurbani, I wrestle with this from time to time. I find my peace with it, then something happens and I'm wrestling with it again, and then I find my peace with it again, and it's an ongoing thing. But I wouldn't know as a woman, and if I was talking to one of the women who've been out in the news the last couple weeks, bringing forward issues, making them part of our political discussion, I don't know what I would say to bring comfort or to serve in a situation like that. And that's the thing I'm sitting with in myself while I'm sitting with all of you in this group, is that where is compassion, where is transformation, where is healing, where is hukum? How do those all work together? So now you don't have to put words in my mouth because I think I've been pretty clear.
Okay. No, I think I much appreciate what you've just said. Personally, I've been having a lot of, and I know we are going off on a tangent a bit, but that's okay. I think today we have a little bit of leeway. I've been talking a great deal about this with my daughter, who's an adult, and I fancy myself, very reasonable, and I kind of think of myself as someone who respects, and certainly, I don't think I'm a male chauvinist. Let's put it that way. But you'll be surprised that sometimes when I say something or I have a discussion with my daughter, she gets a little frustrated with me. She's like, "Dad, you just don't get it."
I get that.
And I'm like, but I don't dismiss her. I do try and dig deeper to think about these things, and but it's a very it's very pervasive, and I do think about the fact that the mere fact that men tend to be physically stronger probably triggered this whole thing off. And so we have a situation where it's just not equal. But yeah, it's very fascinating and it's very interesting. And I think, like you, a lot of us, and I'm not going to put words in other people's mouth, but I certainly do think about it a great deal. And I have two women in the house, three actually, if you count my little doggy Bo, and so I do get outnumbered sometimes, and so I'm trying to learn from them. But Chetandeep, do you want to say anything?
There's a couple of things I was thinking. I was also thinking that similar to like what we have done in the religious realm of things, we have confused outer and inner. Maybe the physical strength of men has got them confused about the inner strength too, and that has some role to play. And also, I agree with what Ripudaman said. Like, the way we are looking at it is, at some level, incorrect. I mean, we being in Home trying to compartmentalize or divide things between good and bad, and how does it affect everybody else, and how does it affect me. I think that has a big role to play on how we interpret things around us all the time. So I was just thinking about these things.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, I think that if on the one hand we say everything is hukum, then on the and I think this was my first question to you also. I mean, if it is all hukum, then good and bad really is all hukum, and so we can't protest it. And yet, I don't see how we can't protest it, right? I mean, how can you be indifferent to it at the same time? So that's the kind of the dilemma. And because Guru Nanak, after all, reacted to his environment as well. I mean, he could have just said, "Hey, this is all hukam. I'm cool with what's going on." So obviously not. And I think that's how, somewhere in there, we have to find the answer. Gurdeep Singh Veerji, do you want to weigh in on some of this discussion? I know we went off on a tangent a little bit. We'll come back to the last
If I
point.
understand her question properly, I'm not sure. Is she means that male domination against the woman, or what? What's the exact question? Because I couldn't get it.
I'm not sure it was a question. She was expressing some feelings. I don't think she's asking a pointed question, but Ekunkarji, and I don't want this discussion to sort of end up going off completely in a different tangent, but Ekunkar, am I correct in saying that you were just airing some thoughts here?
Okay, so to me, women have so much power, much more than a man. Our whole Gurbani, 70% of Gurbani is written as a woman, as a wife, as a spouse. All Guru Nanak Gurbani is mentioned, we all are the women, and we are requesting to our husband is the Lord. 70% of Gurbani is like that, my body, mera Ram Patar, Ruchur Tanko Kanu Sigar. That's what Guru Nanak said also, Hum Barjan Ram Ki. So if we read 70%, his credit goes to the woman according to Gurbani. And woman has a soft heart. She's well taking care of anything, and they are dominating. But man maybe because of physical strength took it over. But Gurbani doesn't buy that. Gurbani doesn't say this, that. Farid Bani, Kabir Sahib Bani, Guru Nanak Bani, everything is mostly as a nice spouse talking to or requesting to the husband. With a similar token, if we see any families, those husband and wife, as we say, ek jot doi murti, sabd milawa hoye, tan pire na akhiye behne ikatthe hoye. So it is the spiritual communication between the two, actually, which is more important than any physical or what we look. This is how I understand that. Thank you.
Thank you, Virji. Haji Gurjeet Singh Virji, would you like to weigh in on this particular theme that has popped up?
Virji, Pauri che ho jana cover. It is all well covered in this body. That what is my jurisdiction, where is hukam comes in, what I can do, what hukam can do.
And we are also talking about the point that Ekunkarji brought up about men and women and what's going on in the world today.
It has been a man-dominated society right from the beginning, and still it is.
Yeah.
Although Uncle Ji is saying that's not about a woman, it's about the wisdom within us. My buddhi is wisdom, and it's an internal structure. One male, two females, but you see anywhere, no one wants to share power. It's just only on papers that, women is given this and this. But ultimately, it's not there. You see all these things happening. It's more just to, as a political statement that women has been given same status. I don't believe they have been given same status.
Hanji.
Baba Pauri kar linne ji phir.
Hanji, just give us a quick summary of what you think the meaning in here is. Because I want Chaitanya to drive it eventually.
Okay. One thing very is clear that Pandey, Sajian, when Chaitanya started, Apine ab Sajo, Apine Rachyo now. Here there is nothing to do about now. Here there is only Sajian. Neither it is here mentioned Dui Kudra Sajiye Karasan Ditho Chao. That's also missing. Because he is only relating to the word Appe. Appe means on my own. So there are two kartas in this world. I think he understands that. There is a Shabad Karta, which is a Gupt Karta, which you can't see. But then there is my man, which is a Pargat Karta, whose action we very clearly see with each other every day. So these are the two, if we relate to that the Parmeshwar has given us a power to the Jeev to generate his own, you can say, body. If mother is not generating the body, I think that's why we say there's a 10-month garb in the Jot. In Gurbani says 10 months, no 9 months. The Jot is doing everything in there. It's creating its own body, but it is Mat Garb mein Apan Simran De. It is there related to the Hukam. It's doing everything in that Simran there, but outside when we come, that Simran is gone. So every Jeev has generated his own Panda, the Hirda. And why has he generated it? Ape Purande, so that he could get rid of that whatever happened in the last, because I think people don't understand ki in Dwapara, Dutiya Ardo Ard Samaya. There were two basically inner and outer consciousness developed. So Puran ਦੇਣ ਲਈ outer consciousness has to align with the inner consciousness. It was created on purpose. But if it doesn't, then ikna dudh samaiye, they have aligned it. ਇੱਕ ਚੁੱਲ੍ਹੇ ਰਹਿਣ ਚੜੇ. The other chulla is nothing but a place where you put heat in. It could be in any form. A stove is a chulla. In the olden time, you could use any fuel, but ultimately there's heat in there to cook the food. So some of them have not reached that stage. Most of us haven't reached. So we are still chulle and chade. But there were Bhagats. They have done the dudh samaiye. Then ik nihali paisavan. Nihali is a word used if you do your Atam Darshan. If you have seen your own mool, then your dream is broken. We are still in dream. That's why I think Ekankar Kaurji is saying, we are living here in a dreamy world. Once we are awake, this is Iknihali Paisavan. Then these people are just Ekankar, not Ekonkar. These are Ekankar people. Ik uppar rehn khade, that's what we are. We are still trying to watch our mind, which way it goes. Our buddhi has to watch the mind 24 hours, which way it goes, and still it, gives it a slip. And then it says, Tenaswari Nanaka Jinko Nadar Kari. Who are these? Iknihali Paisavan and Ikna Dudh Samaye. They get the nadar. The others are given a chance to come to that stage again. Nothing is lost in the sense. Ape Saje Kare Ab, he repeats Gurangad.
So Vijay, come to just quit reading the lines over and again because Chetandeep has done that, but do give us the essence. Continue with that.
That's what I'm trying to do, means quickly going through and trying to see how it's related to micro, not macro. I told him only the Pauri is related to macro. That too after the first line. So we can start. Jant is the body. Jantar, we say
Jant is an instrument. So the body is the instrument.
Instrument with 5 senses.
Yeah.
So Jant is the outside. It is visible. No one knows what is in my G. Only my Jant part is. That's why he says, Birkhe het sab jant ikatthe. Kuch mithe, kuch bolan tatte. So this is two sorts of people here on this earth. Some are with the hukum, some are against the hukum. Then he says, Vadde kiyan vadiyaiyan kish kehna jaye. I think we get confused there. To us, sabte vadda is Satgur. For a person here in Pavsagar, for him, sabte vadda is Satgur. And also we studied that Satgur vadda kar salahi hai. If we do this, that is the only thing we have to do actually. Nothing else is in our capacity. Then whatever he says after that, Tu karta kadar kareem, Parmeshwar is giving us the rizq. Then he says, Sai kar kamavni, he has to get his job done as well. If you have to going outside, I say, you can listen to this and keep doing my job as well. So Parmeshwar has to get his job done through us. Nothing should be worried about that, but we shouldn't leave the first thing. Vadde kiyan vadiyaiyan. And that's what he's trying to tell. Nanak ki bahari. Because ultimately, there's only one place for the jeev to go. That's in the hukum. Hor duji nahi jai. He can't go anywhere else. Either he's in Pavsagar or Suksagar. And jo kare jete se razaye, we should all have to take it in a healthy way that whatever has been done in the hukum. But as Uncle Ji has said previously, it is the hardest thing to do for us because we don't really understand the hukum. We always think, I could do something with the hukum, against the hukum, with the hukum. I think that's where our main problem is. So that's what my understanding is, that it's all micro. Then macro is getting things done through us. We have to do that. But we can't leave vadde kiyan vadiyaiyan.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you for that insight. So, Chetandeep, back to you. I just wanted to share my thought on this insight that Virji has given. So, I mean, I see this as a process that has been created, right? So, our self, as he said, there are two kartas. One is the smaller self that we associate with ourselves. But I see this whole thing as a process. It's just a process that is kind of making all of this happen. Hanji, Chetandeep, do you want to add anything?
Vijay, do you want to expand on this? What do you mean by it's all a process? Because
No, basically what Gurjeet Ji said, right? Ape Pande Sajian. Here, the ape is really, he's talking in terms of macro and micro. What I'm saying is that this whole process, it's a process that is just happening. This process of creation has been set in motion, where the Jeev is creating its own body. I'm just going back to what he's just said. So at that level, at every level, it's just a process, right? I mean, if you just think of if you think of even yourself as a process instead of a thing as a self, I think it makes it a lot easier to understand this. If you think of yourself as a function of hukam, let us say, I mean, the distinction between the two. I'm not sure I'm making this clear, but I just see this as a process that has been set in motion.
okay, because I mean, in the Pauri, Guru Sahib clearly says so karta, and in all of the Gurbani, he is saying there is only one karta. So I'm
Right,
not
but he's the karta that is setting the process in motion.
right. So I'm not then sure about how we are also karta. Yes, we could mistake ourselves as karta, and that's why we are in hame. But eventually, he's saying so kare je tise rah jaye.
Yeah. Let me rein in Ripudaman as well. I don't, he hasn't had a chance to say much. Hanji, Ripudaman.
Thank you. A very interesting discussion. So, some sessions ago, I had learned the word co-creator from this, forum, and I really loved it. So, if my I am in the Parvaram, my inner Hari is the same, ultimately connected to Parvaram. We all are drops in the ocean. Then, in a way, then I am the doer, and my doership is probably aligned. If there's no maybe a distinction between my doership and the Parbrahm's doership. So that may be part of it. So sometimes we feel that a very ordered process, well thought of process has to happen. Maybe it's not like that, right? Yeah, there is room for chaos to unfold. So, thank you, Vijay.
Yeah, Anji, I want to go around again once more. Ekunkarji, I know you're in listening mode, but I think we can coax a few more words out of you.
Well, you can. I mean, I don't know that it'll be useful, but I'll try.
Always useful.
This whole notion of the one doer, like there's a particular Shabad I've been meditating on, and it said there's something in there that says, nobody willingly strays from the path. God himself causes the person to stray. And
isn't that the game?
And isn't that the game, right? That I think that it comes down to the cultivation of consciousness, and that's where this is where I'm struggling with how we talk about hukam, because it's not like Guru Nanak. Guru Nanak had his enlightenment experience, and he Hukm Razai Chalana Nanak Likya Nal, right? And then he started teaching against sati, and he started teaching against the veil, and he started teaching against all these things that women had been enduring for thousands of years as part of a culture. He didn't go around and say, it's hukam for you to be suffering like this. And so there's something in the notion of hukam that I'm missing in these conversations, and I don't know what it is, but it's that how could, I don't think hukam, I don't know what it is, but I can say if Guru Nanak said hukam, and then Guru Nanak went out and fought adamantly against social realities that women were trapped in, why does that feel like a contradiction when we're in these conversations? Because clearly it's not. In his psyche and his enlightenment and his wisdom, there was no contradiction between that. So I'm going to stop there.
Thank you. I think that's a lot of food for thought. A lot of food for thought because, like you, I too have been struggling to understand Hukam along somewhat similar lines. And I'm actually personally, and I'll share this, I'm closer to, in my mind, I mean, this is just me talking. In my mind, I feel like I'm a lot closer to what Virji Gurjeet Singh just said when he talked about two kartas. And I am beginning to feel that there are two kartas and that we call it Shabad, but we could call it Hukam as well. So Hukam is the true self inside of you, the one with the capital S, just to make a distinction. And that the other self that I feel is really just a function of this bigger self. It's just an application. It doesn't have its own kind of real existence. It's just a constructed thing, a contrivance, but it is something that has been put there to launch this game. And that's where we get confused. So I'm trying to see this as just a function of Hukam. Hukam Nanak likhya Naal. I'm beginning to see Naal as being inside of me as much as outside of me. So, to your point that we may be looking at Hukam, perhaps our language, perhaps the words we've used, perhaps the notion that we have that, a lot of translations have always called Hukam laws of nature. Which may be true, but I think it is also the laws, the moral laws as well. But yeah, I'm actually thinking more along the lines that Gurjeet Singh Virji has explained in terms of having two kartas. One is the man, which is Maya, and the other karta is the Shabad or Hukam, which is the real karta. Anyhow, that's just my own. Shall I say, my own quest or my own development. But Virji Gurdeep Singh ji?
Hanji, I am convinced with Gurjeet Virji, Jo Brahmande Soi Pinde. This everything is happening within us. That's what is happening outside in the universe. Gurjeet Virji is right here, but how to reach there? I have the only answer which I could conclude so far to appreciate him. Thakur Gaiye Atam Rang. To sing that divine hymn from the core of your heart. I don't find any other way, then automatically you will understand all this Hukam and all that. This I'm up to so far. Thank you very much.
So I'm coming to you, Gurjeet Singh Virji, but I'm coming to you also with a, it's not so much a question, but it's an observation on something that you said, that we are not awake, that we have to really, be in a certain state. We have to, you made some similar statements. So my point is, how do you even know whether you're awake or not? How would you know that? How would you know? I mean, I think I'm awake, but I could be mistaken. And I admit of that possibility. So with that said, final thoughts on this.
Hanji Virji. Firstly, Chetandeep's question. It says so karta, not se karte. So karta is one who is anek hai fir ek hai. Is just unified within that. All those who are integrated within, they work in one association. We are not integrated. We are sleeping. We say narpat ek singhasan soya supne paya pikhari. It means we are going on to a stage where we slept in such kind, and then we are in the dreaming stage. And Guru Nanak says, Nihali, come into that stage, at least you break your sleep first of all. Those who has broken their sleep has said that Harji Mata, Harji Pita, Harji Hamri Sar Kare Hamar Ke Barak. They totally go out of this Maya, that who is my father in Maya.
So Vijay, just hold your thought there for a second, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just said that those who are out of this dreaming state say Harji Mata, Harji Pita, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you use the word say,
mm-hmm.
which means speak. I mean, I could say that. I say that all the time. But does that mean I'm out of that dream state? I mean, I say it constantly.
You may agree to it, but you haven't accepted it.
No,
you
but
will be found.
No, but I could tell you. I mean, this is just to. I could tell you that I have accepted it.
No, you
inside of
haven't.
me.
You have just passed a statement. I have 3 women in my home.
No,
You didn't say there are 3
hold on.
Jeeves in my home.
No. But the point is that I know what you're saying, but at the same time, when I reflect on what's around me, I could tell you that I accept the idea that there is something going on around me that is being controlled and run, and it has its way of being, and that I'm just a little, I mean, the way I see it is that I'm just in for a ride. It's a wondrous sort of place to be and to discover. Sure, there's ugliness and there's all of this, but the point is, so I'm trying to get to something, and that is that we can all say it, right?
Yeah.
We can all say it.
Say
So
it. Yeah, easy to say.
where is that leap from saying it to being really out of that dream state? That's what I'm trying to get at.
That stage is only said कि ना को मेरा दुश्मन रहे ना हम किसके बैराई. That's the stage. Because the dushman was my mind, it has died. Now I don't see any enemies outside.
But again, this is something we could all say very easily. I don't
Now
see
we can't
any.
say that. We have so much of distrust. Otherwise, the world would have been a better place.
No. But I'm speaking from the point of view of an individual. We may not collectively be in that state.
But yeah, if you are blessed, then if you are at that stage, they say hats off.
No,
That's
but
what
I
we
could
need to achieve.
no. But I could be mistaken, right? I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, how do we really? Maybe there is no way of kind of determining that.
No,
There
is a way. Hum mein jaye mite ahankar. That's the only. I use that pankti, that if we have a chinta within us, a sort of worry, we are not a free soul.
True.
Because
But,
yep.
no, ma'am, what I'm trying to say is that ultimately there is nobody who can tell you whether you are out of your
No,
dream
no
or
one
not.
can tell you. No,
Only you know.
only you know it.
Only you
Yeah.
know. That's
Yeah.
where I was trying to go at. Only you know if you're out of that dream state
That's
or
why
not.
he said, Man Ram kasvatti laya. The Ram is inside you.
Yeah.
See that you are at that level. You have to put your mind at the kasvatti of Ram, and if that color changes, you are not there. If it remains that, it means you are there.
All right.
Only individual knows. Ji.
Yeah.
No one else.
Hanji. Thank you.
Maybe
Ji.
Brahmagyani ki gat Brahmagyani jana.
Yeah.
There's another person at same level. Nanak understood Lena. That's why the shalok is here.
Sure. Thank you, Ji. Ripudaman, any last?
Hanji Virji. So actually, I would I just have one thing that again going back to Ekokarji's. Ekokarji, maybe first of all, I can't even begin to imagine the pain and outrage that you as a woman are feeling right now. So I can't even pretend to be anywhere close to that. But I would like to maybe share this thought that um the outrage that you feel and the inspiration that you may get for action is also hukam. So maybe focusing on that aspect, that positivity, and may help you through this period, and in fact, be more effective for the world as well. Just a thought there.
Okay. Thank you. Ekokarji, do you want to react to that?
No, I appreciate that. I think that's very well said, and thank you.
Chetandeep, before we conclude, do you want to share what the takeaway may be from this Pauri, as well as the discussion that we have sort of had on Asa Ki Vaar? Do you want to share your thoughts?
Basically, before the takeaway, I've been just thinking about the discussion that we had in last 5 or 10 minutes, and I think the interpretations that we are trying to do, and especially around karta and kartas, I think it also depends on what state of being or state of mind we are in, and the way what is our worldview, and hence the interpretation reflects from that. But when I read Bani, we all read Vera Sahib, and uh, the Guru Sahib state of being, like being inspired speech, he he says in this body tu karta satyar menda sign, right? And then further he goes on to say, tu appe karta tera kiya sab hoye, tud bin duja avar na koe. So to kar kar vikhe jane soe. So he sees everything as one. And I think therein lies an answer to the question you raised. How do I know that I'm awake or I'm sleeping? And I think that's what I mean by the state of mind, being awake or sleeping. And again, as you said, it's up to an individual to understand and know if he is awake. And I think the benchmark or the way one knows is uh, when he realizes "Tudh bin duja avar na koi," as Gurjeet Singh Ji said, that there is na ko mera dushman rahe. There is no preference. Like, how do you react in your on your daily basis when something that happens in our daily life, which is not probably what we expected or not we accept, then we are in the sleeping state. But if no matter what is happening around us, let's say tomorrow you wake up and you lose $1 million, are you okay with that? Even like you don't even blink and you're okay with that? Just as an example, right? So the world around us, the sandbox or the playground that we are in, it it gives us indications every moment that are we in that state or not, state of oneness that Guru Sahib is talking about.
Ji, thank you, Ji. I might add that the question that I'm posing may not even be the right question. Okay. It's like there's something in us that wants us to change. And I think we don't realize that the thing that is asking us to change is the thing that has to be changed in the first place, right? So this question itself may make no sense, but I just put it out there. But thank you very much. Harvinder Singh, before we close, welcome back from India. Is there anything you want to add, to say on where we are going from here, from this discussion?
No, thank you, Viji. I think I'm good. So I think so. I will send the email for the next follow up. I think the idea is to do a topic discussion on reincarnation. But I will send the email. I will talk to you tomorrow, and then we can.
Yeah, I would like to get everybody else's opinion on where we want to go.
Okay.
Viji, can I say something?
Hanji Vedji
We
Juru.
are talking about two mandal. One is a Mirta mandal, where we are living in this planet. Other is a Atmika mandal. So when we talk about the Hukam, that's a state of Atmika mandal. This is the Mirta mandal, but we are talking the other thing, Tinagali, or related to this earth, that we have to go 2 stages within us. Mirta mandal and Atma mandal. Atma mandal di khed ho raha, Mirta mandal di khed ho raha. Atma mandal ਚ ਉਹਦਾ ਹੁਕਮ ਹੀ ਹੁਕਮ ਹੈ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਜੋ ਕੁਝ ਕਰਦਾ ਉਹੀ ਹੋਈ ਆ ਪਰ ਮਿਰਤ ਮੰਡਲ ਵਿੱਚ as you sow so shall you reap. Sorry for that.
No, that is indeed a very good point that you raise, and I think that is something we should always bear in mind. There is a part of us that is obviously visible, but we all know that there is a part of us that is not visible. So yes, very definitely, and that is not subject to physical laws.
No,
but that's another discussion.
To go into that realm, from this realm, to go into that, then you will see the different.
And we are a mix. We are a mix of both.
Though there's a little story, the char anne hathi dekhan gaye, if you heard before.
Yeah.
They were talking about all this, but they see different ways.
It's all perspective.
Right. All of them were right.
Right.
Because that's where the access was. So I see nothing right or wrong. It's all thinking. Anyway, thank you, Ji. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate a good discussion. And you will hear from Harvinder, and we will decide on the next course of action.
Okay.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa. Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.